good, curated community? I'm Sydney Johnson, snowboard expert here with the Maggie Leon. Maggie is an engineer and pro rider for Burton, graduate of University of Vermont. And we're so excited to have you here with us today. Excited to hear about your experiences in the industry and what you've got coming on this upcoming season.
Thanks for having me, Sydney. There's a bunch coming up. I'm pretty excited about this season. Finally kicked off. I just got back from Austria last Monday, actually. So I'm pretty stoked for what's to come.
Oh, way sick. Hopefully you can give us some spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out the balance because I'm kind of transitioning roles right now at Burton. Right now, I primarily work in like the bindings category, so a lot of like step-on related work. But as a passion project, I work with adaptive riders as well.
Yeah.
So Burton's been pretty supportive of those initiatives. So I think we're trying to move forward with that and really streamline a real program. So right now I'm kind of working with athletes and events management and stuff to try to build out a full scope and get our product out there as well.
So are you based out of the headquarters then, or where are you going to be this winter season?
Doing a lot of work from home stuff, but so we utilize a bunch of different types of 3D printers. So we'll kick off the builds on Fridays, and then Mondays are the days where you can actually have the protos in hand. So Mondays I'll usually go in, pick everything up, maybe do like a little bit of testing and assemblies, and then try to get everything on snow. But midweek, if I'm traveling, I just bring my laptop and I can kind of work in CAD on our 3D design software from anywhere, which is an insane thing to have, honestly.
That is so cool. Do you claim a home resort where you're at, or are you kind of on the road all over the place? What would you say is your home mountain?
I would totally claim Killington as my home resort because my mom lives there still. We just got our first day on hill yesterday, actually. So Killington's kind of home base. We were at Sugarbush a lot. Bush parks are insane. It's tough, though, because, I mean, I'm traveling a lot, so it's tough to get, like, weeks worth of time, like, riding the park. So it's usually just, like, a few days here and there when we can squeeze it in, or, like, late season slushy park laps.
Yeah. So you started riding with your brother and filming and getting after it at a young age. What was your path like going from riding with family to becoming pro?
I honestly wouldn't consider myself a professional snowboarder. I'm definitely, like, hoping to stay on the track, if you think that's kind of what I'm doing. But
yeah,
to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, Joey and I have been filming together and like learning tricks and progression together since we were like 10 years old,
yeah,
something like that. But it was interesting kind of going from filming with my brother and our best friends to starting to film with like other people or different crews. Having those dynamics shift and change is always like a very interesting adjustment. But I think like when you put yourself in those situations where you're filming with people you don't know that well, or like you're traveling a lot and meeting like different groups of people, because we're a little bit isolated on the East Coast, it like makes you a stronger rider, and just like overall, like you push yourself a little bit differently because you're like out of your comfort zone.
Totally.
So for me, I think like just making friends within the snowboard community outside of just the East Coast has like really helped me to like build that confidence to like go out to like different events and travel by myself and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're actually dropping Spot Heads S12 tonight at 5.
Girls, tune into that.
So
how has Burton specifically allowed you to grow as a brand rider and as an engineer? How has your work with Burton developed over the years in both of those elements?
Something I've really been noticing lately is a passion of mine is like working directly with riders, whether it's team riders or adaptive riders, or just like, I like direct feedback. I feel like a lot of engineers don't really like to work with people, but that's something I like truly love, is like direct feedback versus like theoretical, kind of like lab result tested direction, I guess. So I don't know. I'm learning that a lot about myself. It's like I really like taking laps with people and learning what products work, what don't work, like what things should be improved, where like stress concentrations are, all those kind of things. And something that's been kind of interesting is while I've been traveling, I've kind of been like building off of those relationships. So it's like I'm going out to the Bombhole Rail Jam next month, but I'm also going to go to the National Ability Center and meet up with the Paralympic hopeful team and take laps with them and bring protos out. So it's been kind of fun trying to like mesh the two worlds. And I think like the more I've been traveling, whether it's for my career, which I would consider engineering, or for snowboarding, I've kind of figured out a way to like combine both things naturally, which I think is kind of fun.
Absolutely. That's so sick. And I think too, what makes that so cohesive and makes that an advantage for you is you're a rider. So you can be on the mountain and you're like, I know what you mean. Like sometimes when we're trying to talk about gear even, and you're like, you know when it feels like this or it goes like this, and from an engineering side, you actually know what's going on. But from the rider side, you can take that feedback and make it happen.
It's interesting too because with able-bodied equipment, yes, of course, but not with adaptive equipment. So like if I'm working with, I don't know, let's just say like a lower limb amputee on their back leg or something, I can maybe have an idea and suggest something and they can try it and like maybe it'll work. And I'm like, oh, well, when I had this like really lame little ankle injury, forward lean really helped me. And then they max out their forward lean and they're like, oh, wow, now I can actually get over my toe edge a little bit more, get in or out of the system. So it's been fun to like work with those athletes and then also carrying over like direct feedback from those athletes into bettering our able-bodied equipment is huge too. Because it's like, I don't know, something, I keep coming back to this example, but like if something is better for someone with one arm, maybe they have like a paralyzed right arm or some BPI injury, it's going to be immensely better for someone with two. So it makes you think about like product direction or just overall brief constraints really, really differently.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective too on that. You're like, well, if it's better for this, then it's probably better for everything.
Exactly.
Your passion for snowboarding and the type of engineering you do for Burton and for these adaptive riders is so inspiring and really shows the type of heart that you have as a rider and as an engineer. Was the work with adaptive riders that you do an opportunity that came to you, or was it your intention to work with these athletes right after starting your career?
So that's honestly a great question. So I met Doyle, who's kind of like a second dad type father figure, right, I think senior year of college. And he's been working with these athletes since the late early 90s, really closely, actually. I mean, he's worked with so many different types of riders of various impairment classifications. And just like he truly has a passion to make snowboarding easier and more comfortable for these riders, just because right now, like the equipment just isn't there. There's really no true inline equipment that caters to their needs. So I met Doyle and he started to introduce me to these people. And then senior year of college, I worked with him as a client at Burton. So our goal was to eliminate the compromises that these riders make for able-bodied equipment and just to make snowboarding easier for them, utilizing our in-house rapid proto capabilities. So it was a very general and kind of broad project scope. Our professor wasn't too stoked because we like worked with so many different athletes. But in the end, we like figured out a few solutions that worked really well for them. And I don't know, throughout the project, I started to get to know the riders like pretty well. Like I became like good homies with some of them. So it became like me wanting to help my friends, not like, I don't know. That's kind of just what it came down to is like I got to know everyone and I learned like there truly is no adaptive hard good equipment for like snowboarders at the moment. So what can we do to make snowboarding easier for these riders? That's kind of like how I got involved in this world.
Absolutely. So I know you said those adaptive riders have really just become your friends. So it's just helping them. But what would you say has been the most fulfilling thing about engineering gear for adaptive riders? Is it more that gap in the industry and that tech space, or really just the people side of it?
The people side of it, and it's fun. It's really fun to create and design products that just don't exist yet. And like it makes you think really differently about product development, and it makes you think really differently about the possibilities of what you can design because I don't know, like I said, utilizing like our resources and all the different types of machines and printers that we have, you know, accessible 10 minutes down the road is pretty crazy.
Well, I know on the bomb hole, you talked a little bit about like women in the industry and in snowboarding. So I've heard you speak about being a woman in the snowboarding industry and the growth of the inclusion that has been made. What do you feel are the most exciting things happening now for women in snowboarding? And what are some things you'd like to see more of?
I think women's snowboarding is in such an incredible spot right now. It's so insane. Like when we were out in Innsbruck, Maria premiered her film, Hot Cocoa, which is dropping, I think, next month. I seriously think it might win Movie of the Year. Like, it was so insane. Just think, like, women's snowboarding is in such an incredible spot, especially with, like, I don't know, the most recent Olympics, like Zoe's run. Just, it's so insane. It's, like, next level progression right now. Especially like filming wise, like there are so many girls that are filming street parts, like even like kind of low key, like grassroots style parts that like some of my friends are filming here in Burlington that people don't even know they've been up to. Like it's so sick to see the involvement and progression and excitement. And I think that's due to like, this sounds super cheesy, but I know a lot of people hate on Instagram, but I kind of love it because it's this interconnected like community where it's like, I don't know, like I go out to Austria and I see all these girls that like maybe I have met before or I've talked to on Instagram or like we like each other's stuff or promote each other, that kind of a thing. But it's like you meet in person, you became like instant friends. And I just think like, yeah, women's snowboarding is in such a sick spot right now. It's awesome.
So at Curated, we're all gearheads and love to talk about tech like we were talking about earlier. But what have been some of your favorite board setups throughout your career? Like all time favorite decks, favorite quiver?
I'm actually pretty basic. I just like a simple cambered board, you know, with a good amount of camber, like 5.5, 6 millimeters. I don't like boards that are too stiff underfoot. So what I've been building is like, actually, I don't know. I was riding it the other day. It used to be right there. But I built like basically a Talent Scout with, it's about 15% softer. And that's exactly what I'm riding. And then we're just slapping whatever graphics we want on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. We actually photoshopped my dog Snoopy on the top sheet. So we swapped him out for the two dogs on the Good Company. We put Snoopy's face right there.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. It's pretty cool because, I mean, we build all the proto boards here at Craig's, and I've gotten to know the board builders really well. Like Grant, who I've been working with pretty closely, he actually like taught me how to weld and worked on the winch and stuff. So like he's been sharing a lot of knowledge with me. I mean, this is what he does. So he knows what he's doing. But I've learned a lot from him as well.
To look forward into the future, where do you see yourself in 10 years? With snowboarding, with engineering, personally?
10 years. I don't know if I can think of that far ahead.
Drop it to 5.
All right, 5 years. 5 years is a little bit more reasonable. I don't know. I'm definitely trying to like snowboard as much as possible, and sounds crazy, but work as much as possible because I really do like love what I'm doing right now. I've had that question asked quite a few times recently, like if I'm trying to strictly pursue snowboarding or if I'm just like trying to be like a full-time engineer, like what, I don't know. I get a lot of questions about that, and I don't really know what's to come. I'm just going to keep trying to do my thing, and if it feels right, just kind of follow the path. So right now, trying to snowboard as much as possible, travel as much as possible, meet as many cool people as I can, and try to balance both worlds and keep everyone happy, basically, including myself, I guess.
So what are some of the greatest lessons you've learned from snowboarding that you'd want to pass on to your younger self, or tell your younger self, or tell a younger rider?
Yeah, it makes you just like keep coming up with ideas and pushing yourself, honestly. Like, I think something that Doyle told me was like, start to like be comfortable being a little bit uncomfortable. And that's something I live by. Is like, it sounds crazy, but like if you're uncomfortable, that's usually when you're going to like push yourself the most. So I think that's like my favorite thing at the moment. I just keep coming back to it. It's like, all right, if you're uncomfortable, it's a good thing because you're going to make yourself like put yourself out there at least.
Yeah. And that's applicable in so many levels of life. That really is. All right. Well, thanks, Maggie, for your time. We appreciate your stoke and your impact on the industry. Check out Maggie on her Instagram and her latest Bomb Hole episode if you want to hear more about her background. And if you need help finding the perfect gear, click the link in the description to chat with me or a fellow curated expert. Also, subscribe to watch curated videos like this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.